have indicated is a critically important function of this committee. Our last hearing on this subject was about 6 months ago, and in light of recent events, I'm looking forward to hearing from our witnesses for an update on how our regulatory authorities are coordinating their efforts with regard to the Dodd-Frank legislation. It is time to get back, as you have indicated, to the core fundamentals over at CFTC. Congress created the agency back in 1974 to make sure the use of risk management tools such as futures markets were safe and secure for all of the participants. Unfortunately, in response to the financial crisis, the CFTC, in my view, has been off on a series of tangents, proposing one regulation after another. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, for the first time ever, we have a major problem with one of our larger future commission merchants. I am referring, as the Chairman has indicated as well, to the collapse and bankruptcy of MF Global, the 7th or 8th largest bankruptcy in United States history. A collapse that occurred under the leadership of one of our former colleagues, John Corzine, and under the watch of Commodity Futures Trading Commission, headed up by Chairman Gary Gensler, also a former colleague of Mr. Corzine at Goldman Sachs. On behalf of many investors, agribusinesses, farmers, ranchers, and their bankers across the country who are caught up in the events surrounding the MF Global's bankruptcy, I want to thank the Chairwoman again for agreeing to schedule a hearing on December 13 for this committee to hear from the key players. Through no fault of their own, folks in Kansas, Michigan, all across the country have been severely damaged economically by the actions and subsequent bankruptcy of MF Global. They want to know what happened and see that it doesn't happen again. But more importantly, they want to know what is being done to get this money back in the hands of rightful owners as soon as possible. We must find out what happened with MF Global, and we must do so in a manner that restores faith in the futures markets and maintains them as a legitimate, trusted risk management option for numerous producers and small businesses. Madam Chairwoman, we cannot look past the critical oversight issues we must address regarding Dodd-Frank. I know that, and there are many. However, MF Global is the most pressing issue facing us today. Thousands of our constituents are looking at the possible loss of hundreds of millions of dollars, and it has nothing to do with Dodd-Frank. We're getting more calls today in my home state of Kansas on this issue than we are having on the Farm Bill. For many decades, the futures market has served as a way for agriculture producers and numerous small businesses to hedge risk. Without this ability, many could not stay in business. Throughout those decades, they have never once questioned the stability of the futures market until now. We need to get to the bottom of exactly what happened with MF Global. The lead in those efforts should be the CFTC and Chairman Gensler. I know that the CFTC is working hard, and I know Chairman Gensler has tried to step aside or be a non-participant or be recused and not let his past ties to Mr. Corzine create questions about the CFTC role in this process. Unfortunately, the manner in which Mr. Gensler chose to step aside or recuse himself has raised more questions than it has answered. Why did he not recuse himself from MF Global issues from the beginning of his term if there was a conflict based on his previous relationship? Why did he wait until November 3 to decide he should step aside instead of doing it immediately on October 31 when everything came unraveled and MF Global declared bankruptcy? Why did it take the chairman another 5 days to provide a recusal letter to his agency ethics officer, and why did it take him an additional 2 weeks to provide me a copy of that letter after I had requested it twice? We must restore faith in the futures market so that our former ranchers, or our ranchers and farmers and small businesses can again know they can use futures to provide the risk management they so desperately need. This task and understanding what happened with MF Global must be our top priorities. A key first step on this path will be getting a better understanding today from Mr. Gensler on the answer to many questions that I have outlined. Madam Chairwoman, I again thank you for holding this hearing and for additional hearing you have scheduled on MF Global for December 13.
Thank you very much, Senator Roberts. As the custom of the committee, will ask members to submit opening statements for the record so we can move to